Naomi and Sasha Banks walk out on Raw. Apparently, this is a real thing. They were unhappy with creative direction, maybe contracts as well. We don't know the full story, but I thought I'd ask you any stories when you were just talent, or maybe when you were a booker, when somebody was unhappy with direction and just walked off and left you high and dry. I mean, there's many instances of Bruiser Brody doing that, of course.
Well, Bruiser, and I just saw his wife for the first time in 30 some odd years since the Bruiser Brody incident happened in Puerto Rico. I had talked to her on the phone, but I'd never met her. And ironically, I met her twice in 2 weeks after never even laying eyes on her for 30 some odd years. But, and what was the question again now about?
Anybody that you know, either as a talent or as a booker, that just hated creative and walked out?
Well, a lot of guys have walked out, and usually over money. That's why Brody would walk out. They either give him his money or he just leave, which is business, really. You know, a lot of people doubted his just leaving right off the bat, leaving everybody high and dry. But if he made an agreement, he expected that agreement to be honored. And when they didn't honor it, he'd just leave. Ernie Ladd he would do that too. He'd make an agreement, and if the agreement wasn't right, time the first check come in, he'd bring it to their attention. And then if it wasn't corrected, he'd just leave, which they made their intentions known by not giving and honoring the contract. So, but have I ever done it? Yes, I have. But at the time I did it, I was not in a position like Naomi. I wasn't in a position like Sasha Banks, because it was just a different story. Now, I don't know why they left. I do think it was bad on their part. It was unprofessional to do that. And I could see why creative got upset, that they had to change it on the fly. And I read where they went to see Vince and they thought it was taken care of till it wasn't, because creative didn't like. See, they were trying to dictate, I think, to creative what they should do. And if you're going to do that, why don't you just take everybody's suggestion and just let the talent book itself? And I'm not saying WWE creative is certainly not the best, but talent, they don't know where everybody else is going either. So, and from what I understand, Naomi was going to go over in that match of Raw. What was it, a 6-way or something?
Something, yeah, six packs, whatever, yeah.
It's a stupid match to start off. I mean, and I think they got it in their heads that they were going to probably turn Sasha against Naomi, not that night, but down the road. And I can understand their concerns because they were working as a tag team trying to get that over. But before they get that over, they're trying to turn them. I get that. But you just can't go in there and say, here's the belts, we're gone. I mean, that's like doing this to everybody in the company, especially to creative and events. So I don't know what happened, but they should have tried to work it out more. If not only for their sake, for the fans' sake too, because now the fans are saying, "Well, what happened?" Now they're going to have to make it an angle if they come back, because people are saying, "Well, you just left, and for what reason was that again?" And they'll screw it up. I think they've already screwed it up, but sometimes things like that work out for the best. But what they have lost with creative and with Vince right now is trust, because they were trusted that they would work for this company and get paid handsomely You know what their contracts are? What do you think Sasha Banks making?
I don't know. I mean, conceivable, maybe $500,000. I don't know.
$1 million a year?
Maybe half.
$500,000? I think she's making more than that.
Okay.
I think she is. Because some of these salaries they afforded me recently, I'm thinking, bull crap. They're not doing that. But if you think just Sasha Banks should almost make that much just off her marketing, off her merchandising. See, they can give these big salaries because they're going to make it up in merchandising, putting her in a movie, doing this, doing that. Because, see, WrestleMania week, I was trying to explain this to somebody. WrestleMania week, all it is, the WWE just prints money. That's all they do during WrestleMania week. It's 4 days. 2 of them are WrestleMania days. One day is an NXT game, NXT show. And the other night is the Hall of Fame ceremony. And all they do that whole week is just sell pictures, sell gimmicks, sell games, sell photo ops, sell photos, sign this, sign that. And you do this for 10 or 12 hours a day for 4 days. Well, hell, that's 48 hours dedicated to nothing more than making money. We're not even counting the house or the pay-per-views or however they sell that now and the TV rights to it. So they probably doing WrestleMania week. No wonder they made more money, 2 quarters ago when the pandemic was still alive. They made more money during that quarter than they've ever made before. It was like they made $330 million. That's unbelievable without running house shows. So to me, house shows is a liability. It actually costs them to go on the road. And it is expensive to go on the road, believe me. Because I heard 30 years ago, this is when Vince used to stand around and talk to the guys. He don't do that no more. Vince was standing around, and I forgot. I'm standing there, I think Bradshaw is standing there, somebody else, and we're in Madison Square Garden, and something come up legally or something. And he said, you know how much it costs to rent Madison Square Garden for one night? This is 30 years ago. What do you think it was?
Was it like over 200,000, 150,000, 200,000?
$130-something thousand to rent it for one night. And that's not the total cost. To now, it's got to be at least almost probably $1 million or 750,000. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But it's very, very expensive to run that building. And it's very, very expensive just to run, say, Des Moines, Iowa. If you just think about running just a live event, Des Moines, you got to get your talent there. You got to get the ring there. You got to get the lights set up. You got to get all of the hotel rooms. You got to rent all the cars. You got to pay for catering. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. The house could do $130,000 and they can actually lose money. Hard to believe, but it can happen because it has happened. And that's just the cost of promoting.
It happened back in the mid-90s as well, when there were B shows where no money would be made. There was something you said before, and I didn't pick up on it. Well, I picked up on it, but I didn't stop you. You said that you once left a territory over a creative booking and just went. What were the circumstances of that?
Well, how many?
The most interesting one.
Well, I went to Texas one time, and I just didn't like it. They put me on a trip to El Paso or something. It's like 300-something miles. I said, I ain't making it. Instead of going this way, I went that way. And but that used to happen all the time. But at the same time, I'm saying nothing was tied up in me. I mean, nobody really even knew who I was, really. If they had a guy fill in, nobody knew me. So they could have had just a regular guy fill in. It didn't matter. And then I've been to Tennessee a time or two, and I didn't like it there and left. And I mean, I left Puerto Rico the same way. But the deal is this. Say you were a top guy in, say, let's just say Texas. And all of a sudden, you know, you get mad at the booker or he gets mad at you and you said, F you. And he said, no, F you. And I'll never work here again. He said, I'll never book you here again. And you leave. Let about a year go by. Then the territory, then the business goes, it dies. And the booker said, God, I gotta do something. And you're in a place and not making any money. You said, damn, maybe I shouldn't have left Texas. Then you have an idea, pick the phone up. And the guy said, I'll never book you again. And the wrestler says, I'll never work here again. And I pick up, hello. Hey, Bill, Dutch, wow, man, how you doing? I said, oh, I'm over here in Carolinas or whatever. And I'm thinking about making a move. Can you use, oh yeah, hell yeah. So when business warrants, yeah, you can go back on those. I'll never book him again. I'll never use him again. And the rest are too. I'll never work for him again. But it's what business dictates. If you think somebody can help you, well, those past differences, you know, they fade into the background. They're not even brought up. And you go back working like nothing ever happened. That's what business will do for you.